welcome to Brand Your Passion, the show that helps you turn the thing you love the most into something that people know and love you for. I'm your host, Holly Arnett, the brand coach for creatives, and I'm on a mission to make the world a more creative place, one brand at a time. If you're ready to get more eyes on your work, more dollars in your pocket, and more creativity in your life, you're in the right place. Welcome. Let's brand your passion. Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Brand Your Passion. Today we are talking all about how to build an unforgettable brand identity on a startup budget. Because I know and have been there where whether you are starting out and you just don't have the capital to invest potentially in building a brand and in hiring somebody to help you to build a brand and doing like a custom brand strategy and brand identity process, you just might not have that capital. You might not have that resource to do that. Or maybe you've been in it a while and you just still don't have the cash flow going on, or your priorities are elsewhere and you just haven't been able to set aside the resources to be able to invest in something custom. And that's totally fine, right? These are the realities of running a business, is that there might not always be the capital or the cash flow or the resources to invest in building your brand. If you do, that's awesome. And, I would totally love to talk to you and help you to do that. But not everybody does, and that's the reality. And what I would hate to happen and what I want to avoid happening is that anybody who is in that position who doesn't have thousands of dollars to invest in a custom brand strategy and identity, and working with a brand strategist or a brand identity designer or a brand coach one-on-one, that not having that ability right now stops you from working on your brand. That is my worst nightmare. What I want is that no matter where you are, no matter where you're at, no matter what resources you have the ability and are able to access the opportunity to work on your brand. Because the fact that you want to work on your brand, you want to build something badass and unforgettable and beautiful, is amazing and very admirable and exciting, and I freaking love that. Anybody who is working on their brand, I think, should have that opportunity and have access and the ability to do that. So because we're acknowledging the reality, not everybody has all the dollars in the world, and we want to make sure that everybody has the ability to still work on their brand no matter where they're at and how much money they have, let's talk about some accessible ways that you can build your brand identity on a startup budget. Sound good? Okay, let's go. First things first is that you want to make sure you're just focusing on the essentials. I know it can get really tempting to get shiny object syndrome or kind of compare yourself to other people, but just because somebody that you know on Instagram or whatever is going through the whole branding process right now, they've hired a brand strategist and a brand identity designer and they're going through that whole thing and they're spending thousands of dollars, doesn't mean that you have to right now. Don't worry about it. Unfollow them, mute them for a while if you have to. Don't worry about it. And just because somebody has, all of the signs at their market stall are perfect and designed and everything, they've got every element of their packaging customized and printed with a fancy company, and they've paid a team of people to make all their stuff happen, doesn't mean that you have to, right? All you have to do is focus on the essential things that are going to help you to build and grow your brand. Some things when it comes to branding and marketing and design and everything in business are nice to haves. They are luxuries that would be fucking cool to have, right? Like having custom tissue paper would be really, really, really cool, but might not be an essential for you right now. Yeah. So just focus on the things that are really going to help you right now. And then later on, you can invest in those nice to haves, those luxuries, those next level things when you have the resources to do that. But if you don't, just focus on the essentials and they're going to get you there. Some of the essentials that I believe are, important for everybody to have are your strategy, first of all. So no matter where you're at or where you're going or how much money you have or anything, it's really important to start off your branding journey and your process with some kind of strategy. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to have like 100-page document customized and done for you or anything like that. It just means having some clarity and direction on what you do, why you do it, who you do it for, and how you do it, and who you are, right? So that's the basics. It can be like a sentence for each of those things that says, "Hi, my name is Holly. I am a brand strategist and coach who helps creatives because I want to make the world a more creative place, one brand at a time. These are my values, and this is the kind of person that I am, and the kind of personality and feelings that I want to portray with my brand." That can be the essentials of your brand, right? If you have those things, you can move forward with all of the rest of the goodies. Those goodies including colors. Color is really, really important and really powerful when it comes to branding. So having a color palette of some kind is really essential when it comes to building your brand. Fonts, those are really helpful as well, especially if you're going to be doing anything that requires text, which most things do, whether that's like packaging or your website or social media graphics or anything like that. You're going to need a couple of fonts to help you do that. And then imagery is really important, obviously. So much of what we do is visual, and so having some kind of guidelines on your imagery and having some imagery in your brand is essential when it comes to building your brand. So that can be photography, illustrations, patterns, icons, that kind of thing. And you want to think about capturing photos of you or photos of your work, photos of your packaging, that kind of thing. And yeah, make sure you have something visual that you can use with your brand. And that might just be like photos of your work or photos of you working, or maybe it's illustrations of the guests you have on your podcast, or whatever it is that it might be. You just need to know what that imagery is going to be. Something I didn't mention on purpose is a logo, because a logo is not an essential, in my opinion, especially like nowadays, in the age of like personal brands and influencers and creators being online. You don't necessarily need a logo. If you feel like you do, it can just be your name typed out in a font. That's all it has to be. Just as long as it's consistent and simple and easy for you to make, then that's all you need. But you might not need one at all. So just think about whether you actually need one or you just feel like you should have one, because if that's the case, I am a brand strategist and branding expert here to tell you and give you permission that you do not need a logo. So feel free to just let that one go, because that's one of the ones that stops people a lot of the time. And if you are not a designer, it can sometimes be really hard to design a logo. So then you feel like you have to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars to pay somebody to do a good one for you. But if you're where you're at and you're starting out, or you're trying to like do this on a budget, then don't worry about a logo. If you feel like you do need a logo, like I said, we have a past podcast episode and blog post all about how to design a logo, and it talks you through the process. So go and check that out. That'll help you to get that going. So those are really the essentials. I believe that all you really need right now to get started is that basic strategy. So knowing what you do, why you do it, who you do it for, how you do it, and who you are. Pick some colors and some fonts and decide on some imagery that you can use throughout your brand. Those are the essential things that you need. Everything else is going to depend on what you do and what your goals are, right? What's important to you and what you are trying to achieve. So say, for example, you are a podcaster, then something that's going to be really essential for you is going to be the podcast artwork and the social graphics that you're using to promote your podcast, right? For example, if you are an artist, the essential thing for you is your online shop. That is the essential thing that you need to be able to start sharing your work and selling it and growing your brand. If you're a writer, it might be a newsletter and a blog. And those are the things that you really need to spend your time on because they're essential to you building and growing your brand. So whether you are a podcaster or an artist or a writer or a chef or whatever it is that you do, think about the things that are essential to you and that are non-negotiables when it comes to being able to share your work and either sell your products or book your services or whatever it is you're trying to do. Focus on those things. Those are the essentials. Everything else is a nice to have or something you can do later on or you can work on when you have the time and the money and the resources, right? So start with those essentials that I said that everybody needs. Start with those and then look at anything that is essential to you specifically, depending on what it is that you create and what you do and what your goals are. Okay, so that was step number 1, focusing on the essentials. Step number 2 is utilizing free software and assets, or cheap ones, right? But I'm going to share with you a bunch of free ones because there are amazing resources out there that you can use for free to build your brand. And some of them you are going to have to use creatively or do some digging to find ones that are like unique and custom, not custom to you, but perfect for you and your brand. But they are resources that are there that you can use for free to start building your brand. So, software that you can use for free to start building your brand and creating a brand identity that's beautiful and amazing. Number 1 is Figma. I use Figma for like 99% of the design work that I do and the creative work that I do. Everything that we create for social media at Maker and Moxie is done in Figma. It's free. It's only gets paid, I think, when you need a team. So if you're on your own and you're just creating stuff for your social media or, creating graphics for your shop or for your podcast, artwork, whatever it is, Figma you can use for free. You can also use Canva for free. A lot of people know about Canva. It has a bunch of free templates, a bunch of free resources, a bunch of free tools. You can design anything and everything basically in Canva. So if you're trying to make a logo or Instagram stories or Reels covers or anything, you can do that in Canva for free. So you don't have to worry about paying for expensive software or anything like that. Just check out Figma or Canva and jump in. When it comes to choosing those fonts and colors and things that I mentioned before, you can use Google Fonts for free in any personal or commercial work. So that's awesome. And they have really great fonts. They're really high quality, really simple. There's a great range, so you can choose, a good selection of fonts that are going to work for your brand. You can also use Adobe Fonts for free if you already are using Adobe Creative Cloud, which if you're a creator, you might already be doing. So if you're not, it's not free, but if by chance you are already using Adobe, then it is free for you to do that. And they just have another big library of fonts that you can use for free, commercially and personally. So that's really cool. 2 really great, high quality, big libraries full of amazing fonts that you can use for free for your brand. So get on it. When it comes to photography, there are a bunch of places too. Unsplash is like the most popular. A lot of people know about Unsplash. I have used Unsplash and still do a lot of the time for photography in our business, and there are some beautiful photos in there, again really high quality. Some of them you will recognize because everybody uses the same photos, which is why I said you might want to do some digging and some exploring and some searching to find some more unique ones that will suit you and your brand. But Unsplash is great for free photos. You can also check out Pexels, which is very similar. Gratisography is really quirky and bright and kind of weird photos. And then Burst is also like Unsplash or Pexels, and it's run by Shopify. So that's another bunch of libraries full of high quality, beautiful photography that you can use in your brand for free, baby. Illustrations as well. There are a lot of them out there on the internet. You just have to go searching, just Google free illustrations, but a couple of specific ones that I would check out. First one is Undraw. And the second one is Draw Kit. So they're just a bunch of free illustrations that you can use. There's a range of styles. You can check it out and use them in your brand. Pretty cool. And then icons as well. You can check out Noun Project to use icons for free. I think the only thing with using icons for free from Noun Project is that you just need to give credit. So it just depends whether you're willing to do that. But you can also, if you're using Figma or you're using Canva to design things, they have libraries of their own full of free resources and templates and things like that you can use for free. So check out the icons and things that are available in there. So that is a bunch of free software, free assets that you can use to get started building your brand, right? There is no payment gateway or anything standing between you and an unforgettable brand. All you have to do is dive on in, use your strategy, pick the fonts, colors, imagery that aligns with your strategy, and go from there. And I also just wanted to note or recommend as my last point to find and make use of more affordable or free DIY resources. We did a blog post not long ago, which I'll link in the blog post or the description, whether you're listening or reading to this, which is full of 10 free branding resources. So that includes PDFs, quizzes, templates, and other resources that you can use to work on your brand. So they include things like brand strategy guide, a personal branding workbook, the ultimate checklist for a branding photo shoot. There's a quiz on your brand personality, templates for brand naming. There's so many templates out there that are really helpful and resourceful and full of amazing value that will help you build your brand. So check out that blog post, have a look at all of those free resources, and you can also check out the resources that we have, because this is the whole reason that I started creating the products that we have in our store, because the work that we do with our one-on-one brand strategy clients and our brand identity design clients, it is more expensive, and I know that, and I'm aware of it, and I know that not everybody can afford that, and that's totally okay. But like I said at the beginning, I don't want that to stop anybody from being able to work on their brand. The reason that it's priced that high is because it's worth that much, right? And myself and my team and the people that we collaborate with deserve to get paid well for what they do, just like you do as a creative, right? But as I said, we need more affordable, accessible options for everybody to use. So I created a bunch of resources, and there are a lot more to come, but you can check out our Creator Clarity bundle. There's the whole bundle, or there are the separate products. So those are products to help you with your vision and your mission and your values, or you can use the whole bundle. And we have our brand strategy kit for creators as well, which is $80. You can start working on your whole brand strategy with that. So that's a lot cheaper than hiring a brand strategist one-on-one. Check out those. Oh, we also have an ultimate branding checklist, which is free. So go ahead and check that out. Free for all, and will help you work through your brand one step at a time. There are, like I said, so many resources out there. If there are any more that I come across, I will add them to the list in the blog post I mentioned. I'm always sharing them on social media and stuff as well, so make sure you follow us over there. But yeah, that is it. I hope this episode has been really helpful. Like I said, my whole vision is to make the world a more creative place, one brand at a time, right? And I want to do that with as many creatives as possible. I want to help as many of you as possible to build your brand, share your work, and own your moxie. That is our mission. And that doesn't matter whether you have thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars, tens of dollars, or $0. We're here to help you however we can. And I want you to know that you are amazing for working on your brand, and you should and can have access and the ability to build a freaking amazing brand at that lower price point. So hope this has been helpful. I hope these resources and things that I've mentioned are useful to you. Let me know on social media or however you want to get in touch with me about this episode. Let me know how you have started using some of these things. Let me know how you get on with building your brand, and I will talk to you in the next one. See you later. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Brand Your Passion and choosing to spend time with me learning all about branding, business, and all things creativity. You can find more episodes just like this one at makerandmoxie.com/podcast. If you like this one, you can tap that subscribe or follow button so that you're notified about each and every new episode. And if you've got a spare second, please leave a review on iTunes or wherever it is that you're listening to this podcast, because I would absolutely 100% love to hear from you. If there were some helpful goodies in this episode for you, it would mean the world to me as well if you could screenshot that podcast player right now, hop on over to Instagram or Twitter and tag us at Maker and Moxie. By subscribing, reviewing, and sharing, you're helping reach more creators just like you, so that together we can make the world a more creative place, one brand at a time. We can't achieve this mission without you, so your support means the absolute world. I will talk to you in the next episode, but until then, keep creating.